Australia was warned that the lives of any Afghans who worked alongside coalition troops would be in danger if left behind after the August withdrawal. Now, confirmation that a former Afghan soldier who acted as an interpreter for the ADF back in 2011 has been executed by the Taliban this week. He can't be identified because his family is still in hiding somewhere in Afghanistan.
They had been in hiding and they were trying to get rescued, and they were not aware of Australia's emergency evacuation process. No one had told this family about the evacuation processes, so they have been lifted out from that process.
The man's sister here has been desperately trying to secure humanitarian visas for the family for 2 months.
They also contacted ADF on multiple occasions to try to connect with the two lieutenants that the interpreter had worked with, but unfortunately ADF did not disclose their contact details for confidentiality reasons.
The government says it hasn't turned its back.
It's a hideous equation for people on the ground in Afghanistan. People are being rounded up as they try and escape. We're using every lever we have in the international community.
But with only 3,000 humanitarian places set aside for Afghan nationals and more than 26,000 applications already lodged, there are fears thousands more will meet the same fate.
The Australian government didn't even meet its moral obligation to rescue its own allies. And I don't have any doubts that, well, if they find this family of this victim, they may kidnap the girls and turn them into their brides for the fighters, their teenage girls, and they will not hesitate to kill the son or the mother. There's no doubt about it.
Well, Glenn Kolomitz is a lawyer and former army officer who did 2 rotations in Afghanistan. Right now, he's fighting to get 1,200 people who were associated with the ADF out of Afghanistan. Glenn, how did you feel when you heard that news this morning?
Look, it's tragic, of course. It's not unexpected, I have to say, but any death of any of our clients is a tragedy, and it was pretty shocking to hear.
Is what happened to this translator an outlier, or is this common?
Sadly, Carrie, it's not an outlier. We had one of our guys captured by the Taliban and shot the week the Taliban took over Kabul, and our colleague Jason Skanes from Forsaken Fighters told me we had 2 of our interpreters killed in the last 24 hours. So look, this is not an outlier. It is reasonably common, and as I say, it's tragic.
Back in August, as the Taliban started sweeping to power, the Prime Minister did say that we wouldn't be able to save everybody. Today, the government has said it's doing everything that it can. What's your response to that?
They could have done a lot more, a lot sooner. They've been on notice about this for a long time. We've been applying to get our locally engaged employees visas and get them out for years. So too little, too late, I have to say. And even now, they could be renewing the temporary visas they issued and they granted, or issuing permanent visas, but they're just not. So a lot more can be done right now as we speak.
Well, we've just heard about some really awful stuff awaiting these families if they do get captured. Are all of the people that you're representing in hiding?
We have to be very careful, of course, but we have our people, we know where our people are, and they are in hiding, often going from house to house, as are the Taliban. They're going from house to house, from door to door also. So they're getting increasingly desperate as they move from relative safe houses to other houses.
So, Glenn, if you do manage to get these visas sorted that you mentioned, how would you then get these people out of Afghanistan if the Taliban is controlling everything?
We are having small victories. We're getting families out by other means, which I won't go into detail, but the issue is they need visas to be able to get out via these other means. They need these 449 temporary visas or permanent visas, Australian visas, to get out to third countries. As I say, we're getting out small numbers by certain means, but we need more help from government. We need more visas.
The interpreters over there, are they losing hope, or are they still very hopeful that the Australian government will help get them here?
Interestingly, our interpreters and our embassy guards and others, our contractors, AusAid contractors, are quite upbeat about the Australian government. They're very confident that the Australian government will help them, and they're desperate to come to Australia. So we're trying to keep them upbeat, but it's a hard fight for them, and they're facing hardship on a daily basis. And as we now know, the risk of death is pretty close.
Yeah, that help should have come a long time ago, Glenn. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks very much, guys.
From expert opinions to in-depth analysis and reporting, the Project YouTube brings you the biggest stories from Australia and around the globe. Hit the subscribe button now for news delivered straight to your feed.